pop the bead off of a tire, what I found to be the simplest with the tool I have here is this is a high lift jack, or some people call them a farm jack. I just put that underneath the receiver hitch portion of my pickup truck, and I set the foot of the jack on the edge of the tire, and then I'll just crank it up here and slowly push that bead off. What you want to do is make sure this foot is really close to the edge of the bead, but not onto the rim. And then you do it like this. It gives you the opportunity to stand on the edge, put some weight on it because it's going on a tip. There it goes. What I do now, I didn't take the bead off the other side. I know that one's not leaking, and what I found from experience is that if your bead's not leaking, don't mess with it. So what I want to do now is just kind of go around, dry things up. I always use an old sock. Seems to work pretty good for cleaning things up. Just old rags, right? Wear it up on your hand or whatever. Get things cleaned up. I'm gonna pull this around the inside of the bead. Kind of seats up, kind of pulls seats in there, real nice, and then you can just pull it around, and that cleans up your rim and your seat or your bead as well. So you can see there's a lot of garbage in there, and this one here, I can see that it doesn't have any sand or anything inside the bead. I do notice a little chunk of something right there. Get that out of there. You just want to inspect all the way around. Make sure there's nothing foreign materials in there. A lot of times, especially with these aluminum rims, what happens in low pressure situations where like the ATV, UTV tire, which this is, you'll be going around a corner, and since you're running a low pressure, the bead will kind of separate a little bit from the rim, and then sand will get in there. And these aluminum rims really get gouged up from that. And over time, they just get bad at sealing. So this one's especially bad. I have problems with this every once in a while. I've always tried just dealing with it, but this is the first time I'm actually putting rim bead sealant on it. So we'll see how that goes. So I've got it pretty cleaned out now. There's no material in there that I can see. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my rim seal here. And for this one here, I bought, it's called Extra Seal Bead Sealer. I got this at AutoZone. You can get it on Amazon too. I'll put some links in for this stuff. And I'm just going to get this in there on the tire bead itself. Sometimes it's hard to get in there. You're going to press down. The instructions say not to put a lot on. It says put a little bit on. So it's hard to describe what a little bit is. I'm just going to put on enough that it looks like it's covering reasonably well. I'm just going to go around all the way, double check that I got all the spots. So I don't want any spots missed, because if you miss them, well, then you got to go back and pop the bead and everything else. So now what I do to ensure we get a good bead seat here is I actually take a ratchet strap, and I will put that around the tire. What you do is just ratchet that thing nice and tight, and that allows some pressure onto the bead, and when you hit it with air, it'll go seal up right away. The air won't come out through the bead area. So I'll go get a compressor line, and we'll pump it up. So I just want to make a note. On this particular tire, you can see here, it's hard to read maybe on screen, but it says on the very bottom line there, 32 PSI max to seat beads. So just pump this up. Get the bead to pop. Okay, so you can see where one is leaking pretty bad here. I blew off my strap and we got a big leak. Right there. Look at that. So now I'm going to let some air out of this thing. I usually run these around 16, 17 pounds at the highest. I'm at 31 right now. I use this slime digital gauge. Oh. 2 readings at 18. So that's where I wanted to be. So perfect. I'm going to let this dry. And when it's dry, we'll come back and peel off the rubber and go from there and do a leak test. So now we're the rubber here is still a little tacky, but it is getting a film on the top of it. So what I'm going to do now is take some soap and water and a toothbrush, and I just run it along the edge of the bead where the meets the rim. And this is just dish soap, mostly dish soap with a little water is basically the mix. It's probably like 2 to 1. I want it a little thicker, and I'll get it in there, right in that crease, and just watch it. And if you see any bubbles forming, you'll see them puffing up real slow. That way, then you know there's still an air leak, and you get the joy of popping this bead again and redoing it. I don't see any right now, so I think this is going to be a successful first attempt. I still don't see any leaks here, so we're going to call this a success and give it, an hour or two to set up before we do anything else here, and then get it back on the machine. But that'll be it for the video. Hope this helps somebody. It's an easy process. Probably taking it off the machine, setting it up, getting it done. Really is probably maybe 30, 45 minutes, and you'll be ready to roll again. Take care. If you're enjoying this content, please like and subscribe. I'd appreciate it. Thank you.